Learn to value yourself, which means, fight for your happiness. Ayn Rand. You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Albert Camus. Whoever is happy will make others happy. Anne Frank. You don't develop courage by being happy in your relationships every day. You develop it by surviving difficult times and challenging adversity. Epicurus. Many persons have a wrong idea of what constitutes true happiness. It is not attained through self-gratification but through fidelity to a worthy purpose. Helen Keller. The true secret of happiness lies in the taking a genuine interest in all the details of daily life. William Morris. The greatest happiness you can have is knowing that you do not necessarily require happiness. William Saroyan. As people spin faster and faster in the pursuit of merely personal happiness, they become exhausted in the futile effort of chasing themselves. Andrew Delbanco. All happiness or unhappiness solely depends upon the quality of the object to which we are attached by love. Baruch Spinoza. Happiness consists more in conveniences of pleasure that occur every day than in great pieces of good fortune that happen but seldom. Benjamin Franklin. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. Immanuel Kant. To be without some of the things you want is an indispensable part of happiness. Bertrand Russell. A great obstacle to happiness is to expect too much happiness. Bernard de Fontenelle. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Dennis Waitley. To enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. If a man can control his mind, he can find the way to enlightenment, and all wisdom and virtue will naturally come to him. Buddha. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. It is far better to take things as they come along with patience and equanimity. Carl Jung. The secret of happiness is freedom, the secret of freedom is courage. Carrie Jones. It is not how much we have, but how much we enjoy, that makes happiness. Charles Spurgeon. There is no happiness like that of being loved by your fellow creatures, and feeling that your presence is an addition to their comfort. Charlotte Bronte. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else. Chinese proverb. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Dalai Lama. Nobody really cares if you're miserable, so you might as well be happy. Cynthia Nelms. We can't control the world. We can only, barely, control our own reactions to it. Happiness is largely a choice, not a right or entitlement. David C. Hill. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Dennis Waitley. Learn to enjoy every minute of your life. Be happy now. Don't wait for something outside of yourself to make you happy in the future. Think how really precious is the time you have to spend, whether it's at work or with your family. Every minute should be enjoyed and savored. Earl Nightingale. The search for happiness is one of the chief sources of unhappiness. Eric Hoffer. Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. Franklin D. Roosevelt. We tend to forget that happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather of recognizing and appreciating what we do have. Frederick Koenig. There can be no happiness if the things we believe in are different from the things we do. Freya Stark. Happiness is a place between too much and too little. Finnish proverb. Give a man health and a course to steer, and he'll never stop to trouble about whether he's happy or not. George Bernard Shaw. Happiness is having a large, loving, caring, close-knit family in another city. George Burns. Happiness is a byproduct of an effort to make someone else happy. Greta Brooker Palmer. No medicine cures what happiness cannot. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Happiness and sadness run parallel to each other. When one takes a rest, the other one tends to take up the slack. Hazel Marie Elliott. True happiness is not attained through self-gratification, but through fidelity to a worthy purpose. Helen Keller. All happiness depends on courage and work. Honoré de Balzac. Happiness is distraction from the human tragedy. J.M. Reynoso. Real happiness is not of temporary enjoyment, but is so interwoven with the future that it blesses forever. James Lendell Basford. The foolish man seeks happiness in the distance, the wise grows it under his feet. James Oppenheim. Happiness is where we find it, but very rarely where we seek it. J. Pettison. There is no cosmetic for beauty like happiness. Lady Blessington. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy, they are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Marcel Proust. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Happiness is the default state. It's what's there when you remove the sense that something is missing in life. Naval Ravikant. Happiness is holding someone in your arms and knowing you hold the whole world. Orhan Pamuk. Happiness is the resultant of the relative strengths of positive and negative feelings rather than an absolute amount of one or the other. Norman Bradburn. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Mahatma Gandhi. On the whole, the happiest people seem to be those who have no particular cause for being happy except that they are so. William R. Inga. There are two ways of being happy. We must either diminish our wants or augment our means, either may do. The result is the same, and it is for each man to decide for himself and to do that which happens to be easier. Benjamin Franklin.